Chapter 34. Alma Reynolds bounced on my couch and laughed. You actually got one, if leather could talk. I placed the attaché case on the floor between us. What's that? She said. The altar of eternal truth. I'm supposed to see it and buckle. I moved the case aside. No matter what you think, Syl was a man of principle. He may have taken the money, but he didn't spend it. The police went over his apartment carefully. Where did you find it? What's the difference? He was murdered. Everything matters. Can't you see how that does? But fine. In his car, okay? In the trunk, right out in the open. Which is my point. It was nothing he was ashamed of. There was no big mystery here. People sent in minor cash donations, minor cash donations, and rather than go to the bank of all the time, Syl saved them up so that he could deposit them in the Marsh account. The small stuff, so you actually listen. I said, he told you about the money. No, but it's the only thing that makes sense. Syl controlled the account. Syl created the account. He was Save the Marsh. I already explained that to you. Every penny went to the maintenance, except for his salary. He never gave himself a raise. We are not exactly talking rampant materialism. Now that I've seen how you live, I understand why you can't seem to get that. This place all the Sunday supplement, contempo, California living. I know what this neighborhood costs. Money's your thing, but it wasn't Syl's. The fact that he left the case right out in the open is proof positive. There's nothing corrupt about the money. How much is in there? 15,000, yes, I counted it. Who wouldn't? Including the pearl. She flushed. Keep the damn pearl. If it didn't fit me, anyway, and it obviously jammed a burr up your butt. Hell, give it to your wife, if you have one. Thankful Robin worked in a separate building. I said, the pearl's yours. Why wouldn't it be? Ah, gee, how tweet of you. Forget it. I'm washing my hands of the whole damn mess. Syl was right. Filthy lyrishy does stain permanently. I said, the money could very well be yours too, unless he left it willing, or will be quithering it to someone else. Well, he didn't, she said. Neither of us had wills. We made a point decision to avoid pathetic attempts to control things from the grave. Then I'd say it's yours. You were this significant other. Are you dense or just being manipulative? I don't want it, and I don't try to tell the cops don't or won't try to convince or confiscate it. Isn't that the part of the racket? The entire so-called war on drugs is nothing more than a revenue scheme. The cops I work with are out to solve murders, and Detective Sturgis' skin tones don't go with the pearl. Oh, aren't you charming, she said. Probably a soft upbringing, and you always got your way because you were oh so cute. This is the last time I'm going to say it. I don't want the money. I don't want the damn pearl. Hell, if I know what got into me in the first place. So stop harassing me, tracing me to the damn jewelry store. Unbelievable. You're like one of those Homeland Security scammers. Alma, I said, I'm just trying to figure out what happened at the marsh, tracing me. That crack about my mother, you actually found that jewelry store? Lots of motivation, Alma. Well, bully for you. If you must know, I didn't go in there intending to buy anything expensive, just a trinket, something to remind me of Syl. Why the hell not? I was grieving, she sniffed. He's so damn gone. You try filing hollow hours. I'm sorry. Like hell you are. You're toying with with me right now. What are you trying to do is figure out who murdered the man you loved and a whole bunch of other people. Who says it's the same person? And even if it is, talking about the money isn't going to accomplish anything. It's what I said, small donations, 15,000 worth. I said, it adds up. Let's confidence in her voice. Less confidence in her voice. Are the bills of different dominations? No answer. It's easy enough to check. 20s, okay, she said. It's all in 20s, kind of coincidence. So at some point, Syl changed it into 20s, to make the count easier. If he went to the bank to change bills, why not simply deposit the money? She shot to her feet. My hands are clean. forget it, all the Catholic crap. I was never into self-flagellation. I said. Syl was seen taking an envelope from the man. What? In the parking lot behind his office. Seen by who? A witness. Who? I can't say, she smirked. One of those anonymous sources, like the government always happens to find. A witness with no motive to lie. So you say. It may not have been ominous, but it happened, Alma. Someone delivered a donation in person. Big deal. I described the man with the blonde hair and the reconstructed face. She said, Sounds like you're a typical LA guy. You have no idea who he is. Why would I? Goodbye. You don't spend it all in one place. I said, One more thing. With you people, there's always one more thing. Us people, as in representatives of the state. I said, Everything's political. You'd better believe it. Does that include the knife in Syl's gut? Her arms turned rigid. Oh, you're a beaut. Coming across all sensitive, but there's a cruel streak you bring out at will. I'm trying to get to the truth. I thought that we might share that goal. Truth is bullshit. Truth changes with context. Context is exactly what I'm looking for, Alma. If you want to colonize Syl, fine. But if you can open your mind long enough to consider an alternative, we might actually find out who murdered him. If she'd walked out, I wouldn't have been surprised. She stood there. What alternative? Consider the possibility that Syl was paid off. Nothing illegal, maybe just to bend the rules. I think whoever paid him also lured him someone who knew the marsh and believed Syl had to be silenced. Rich bastards, she said. Everything is political. Any rich bastards in particular? How about those movie crooks for the start? Money corrupts, and they have obscene amounts of money. They found STM, but I'll bet that they'll never stop lusting for that land. Syl took their money, but he despised them. Would Syl have gone out in the middle of the night for one of their lackeys? Silence. I said, Who did he trust, Alma? No one. Syl wasn't a trusting person. I'm the only one he confided in, and even then, he could be guarded. About what? He was moody, could close up like a turtle, just like an unreachable. But that doesn't mean he sold out. That damn bunch of mud was everything to him. Besides, what would anyone pay him off for? I don't know. Well, neither do I. Goodbye. I popped the case, took out the jewel box and pressed it in her hand. She shook her head violently, but didn't push it away. Depending on how things shake out, I may be able to get you the money as well. I don't... Why the hell are you doing this? The hell are you? Just another guy with a soft upbringing. She studied me. If I was wrong about that, sorry. But it doesn't change facts on the ground. You're a government agent. Nothing to apologize for. I've been pressuring you. Yes, you have. Her hand closed around the box. It's been hell. I need to get through it. As I walked her out, she studied each room we passed. When we got to the VW, she said, The only possible thing that Syl's got could have been... No, that doesn't make sense. That would be worth 15,000 stinking dollars. Tell me anyway. There's another way into the marsh, clear on the opposite end of the official entry, on the west side. It was intended as an original entry, but too many plants grew there, and Syl insisted it not to be touched. If it was up to him, the entire place would be off limits to visitors. Where on the west side? Dead center. It's overgrown, impossible to see from the street, but if you push your way through, there's a gate. Syl kept it padlocked. He liked to go there, his secret place. Sometimes he took me there, blushing. It's beautiful, huge willows, high reeds, little brackish sub-ponds where tadpoles and frogs colonize. Lots of birds because it's closer to the ocean. How often did Syl go there? I don't know. He only took me 3 or 4 times, always at night. We spread a blanket. He looked up at the stars and he'd say, This is $1 billion view. If people only knew. But that was retro. Who'd pay 15,000 for a picnic spot? And why would that put Syl in danger? She shook her head. You're chasing your tail. Thanks anyway. For letting my mind run wild. It's called creativity, I said. Lord knows. We could use more. Chapter 35. I sped to the marsh and searched for the secret entry. The preserve's western border was a dense block of eucalyptus and willows, a good 20 feet thick, fenced by 4-foot-high metal picket designed to look like wood. It took me 3 passes to spot the notch in the trees, several yards of branches in my face, before the second fence came into view. Cedar stakes, padlocked as Alma Reynolds had said, but only 3 feet high, and climbing over was no big deal. Once on the other side, I endured another green gauntlet. Holding back limb after limb, I was treaded on uneven, leaf-strewn dirt. Slow going, as I checked for evidence of human intrusion. 10 yards in, I found it. Shoe prints, mostly blurred, but one crisp impression, a man-sized foot ringed by dots. Foliage whispered over or above still water. Cattails shimmered as a great blue heron, huge, serpent necked with the dead-eyed mien of a prey-seeking petrogall, rose awkwardly, flapping its way to the ocean. By the time it disappeared, I had achieved grace. Several seconds of silence passed before something scurried. I kneeled and got close to the shoe prints. The dots seemed unusual, but I was no expert. I took pictures with my cell phone and thought about what to do next. All I could see up ahead was more green, trees tall enough to obscure the sky and shade the ground black. Maybe this place was nothing more than a secret garden. 15,000 worth of clandestine picnic spot, not as obscure as it sounded. In places like L.A. and New York, nothing strokes lust quicker than the threat of rejection. It's why the manufacturers of velvet ropes will never go out of business. Why costumed fools wait for hours on early morning sidewalks and street-talking bouncers and risking junior high humiliation in order to score overpriced drinks and brain-damaging dance track. In places like L.A., some people fill their blackberries in their heads with two lists: the places I go, the places I shun. The part of the marsh I avoid because everyone goes there and it's so yesterday. But there's this special spot, baby, way more gorgeous. Chance Brandt remembered the blonde man who'd paid off Syl Duboff from a fundraiser, an affair populated by people who cared about the ocean or pretended to. No reason to doubt Mr. Bondo's intentions. Maybe the money would boil down to nothing more than a rich man's chum change payoff for private night beneath the stars. But then why would Duboff been lured to his death, gutted and dumped, another body in the marsh, the public side? I stood there, not sure if this beautiful place was malignant. I'd print the shoe photos, email them to Milo for what it was worth. The next morning at 8, his recorded voice was a drowsy greeting. Reed managed to follow Wellenberg, but it didn't lead anywhere. We're lunching at noon tomorrow, and the usual. If you have any sudden insights, I will save room for dessert. Get the photos. Shoo, he said, probably Duboff's, but I'll send them to someone who knows about that. This time Reed kept pace with Milo, forking food into his mouth like a combine. Career development. When I sat, he put down his fork. Wellenberg lives in a gated part of the Palisades of Manderville Canyon. Closest I could get was outside the gates. I thought I might be on to something when she was still home at 11, and then a rental Chevy followed by a Hertz van pulls up to the guardhouse, and soon after the van leaves with 2 guys instead of 1. 15 minutes later, Wellenberg drives out in the Chevy. I'm thinking she got herself a cover car. This is going to be interesting. She heads for Mar Vista, parks in front of a house that is definitely below her tax bracket. I'm thinking the bastard's crib finally. Breathe. That's enough. That's enough. You're okay. She uses her own key to get in, comes out 10 minutes, drives away. Now I've got a choice. Knock on the door or keep tailing her. He loses his tie. I go for the knot. No one answers. I'll try the back. Same deal. Drapes are drawn. Now I'm wondering if Wellenberg spotted me and played me. Maybe it's just a rental property she owns, and maybe she's off to his real crib. Milo said, "It was the right choice, kiddo." "If you say so," I said. "You're sure that Huck doesn't live in the house? Next door neighbor says a family named Adams lives there. Good people, quiet." I showed Huck's picture with and without hair. No one recognized him. He traced a four-sided figure on the table. "Welcome to square one," I said. "The Adams family." "How about that? Another time." I might be thinking it's funny. Any idea what size family? I didn't ask. Why? If a woman and a girl around 10 live there, it could be a Brandine Lorraine, the baby Huck saved, and her grandmother, Anita Brackle, and Huck could still be a guest, despite what the neighbors say. No big deal sneaking him in after dark. He keeps a low profile. Who's going to know he's there? Milo said, "What gets you from the point A to Anita harboring a fugitive?" It's a theory and a minor one at that, but in some circles, Huck's a really popular guy. I recounted my talk with Larry Brackle and Kelly Vander. Reed said, "Wife's number one, huh? That clears up how Huck got the job with Simon, but not much else. You yourself and Huck wasn't Anita's favorite person. It was Larry who took him in. But Anita changed her mind about him. Conversation sometimes leads to strongest faith." Milo said, Have to be more than strong to take him in with a kid in the house." "A kid he's viewed as saving," I said. "As for all we know, Huck's had regular contact with Brandine, like that Chinese proverb, some save people or save someone and they're your responsibility forever. That's also probably a big part of Deborah Wellingberg's motivation." Reed said, "Everyone's saving everyone. Meanwhile, we've got bodies. You really see Huck inspiring that kind of devotion?" "Kelly and Larry are convinced he's a saint." "Typical psychopath," said Milo. "Guy's ready to run for office." Reed scratched his crew cut, resumed eating. I said, "Even if Mrs. Adams isn't Anita, she could be someone else Huck knows from rehab. Misery-loving company can lead to some pretty tight bonds. If Wellingberg wasn't playing you, she went there for a reason. The drapes could have been drawn for a reason." Milo said, "If Huck's got a network of rehab buddies, there could be safe houses all over the city." Reed said, "Hero." Something made him turn toward the restaurant's front door. He clenched his knife. Aaron Fox walks toward us, custom-tailored as ever, in a black raw silk suit, sea-green shirt, yellow pocket square. Nothing gaudy in his step. Reed got up and faced him. "Bad time. We're busy. No doubt, bro. But not too busy for me." Fox sank down into the seat next to Brother's empty seat. His eyes were sharp, with pink-rimmed the sclera. He'd shaved carelessly, spotted nicks and bumps in the tight, dark shadows below his jawline. Milo said, "Long night, Aaron." "Lots of long nights. I could get screwed for talking to you," said Fox. "Might as well be monetary and not legal," Reed said. "Got yourself in a bit of professional fix?" Fox frowned. Is it my breath, bro?" "Yeah, it's a fix." "Little conundrums are part of the job, but this is different. May I?" He reached for a water glass and drank greedily, poured another and finished that. Reaching for the cup of tea, he broke off a piece, ground it in between his finger and thumb, and repeated within seconds. He'd created a pile of breadcrumbs. Mo Reed feigned boredom as Fox smoothed the pile. Fox wiped his hands on a napkin, plucked his pocket square, and arranged it in 3 points. "When Simon Vander hired me to research Huck, she said it was her idea, period. I didn't have her permission to contract any of her father's business associates. I told her that's not how I usually work. She wants liberty science. She could do it herself." Reed said, "Your mission should you choose to accept it, give it a rest, Moses. Fox turned to Milo. Simon said hiring me was more than wanting to know about Huck. She promised a much bigger job, rooting out a financial conspiracy against her dad. By his minions, her word. When I asked why, she said despite being a good businessman, he got taken advantage of all the time. A deep pockets thing, Milo said, which minions in particular bothered her. Every one of Daddy's lawyers, accountants, and financial managers, she viewed them as leeches, falling over falling over themselves to rack up billable hours. The lawyers in particular she thought were shady. Alston Ware, said Milo. Ware plus all of his associates. She told me that she wouldn't be surprised if the entire firm was in cahoots to loot the estate, maybe even with Huck. That sounds paranoid. A bit, but with mega-rich folk, you never know, and insinuatives are always there. I've seen plenty of predatory employees, Reed said. Did the suspect Huck of any specific financial screwness? Fox shook his head. With him, it was more like his creepy personality, worming his way into the family, kissing Kelvin's ass in particular. She claimed that he spoiled the kid. Then, when Selena showed up dead, she got downright terrified and called me. Reed said, so far I'm not hearing much that's new. What's new, Moses, is she lied to me, starting with there being another job, finishing with her deadbeating me. She hasn't paid a penny for her bill, shut me out completely. No emails, replies, no return on my phone calls. My bad. I didn't take a retainer. Figured it was for a quickie, which it was, and we're not taking a mega bill. Still, I like to be paid. So now, we're your collection agency, Milo said. How much are we talking about, Aaron? $4,000, give or take. For internet research, not bad. The results of which I passed on to you guys. Then again, maybe you would have found it on your own. Milo said, we're grateful, Aaron. Is there a punchline approaching the horizon? Oh yeah, Fox said. She annoyed me, which can be a real bad idea. My philosophy is go after every single penny. Really bulldog it. You can have your word getting out you're a pussy, so I go after her, starting with a records check. That I turned up some interesting stuff. Bunch of drug busts when she was 18 to 22, meth and weed, and Daddy's lawyers got her off with probation. Anything since? Not officially, but wait, there's more. Folks, she lied about more than the big job. Lying seems to be her M.O. When I met her, she spun me stories about her being a singer and ballerina, a financial analysis for a hedge fund. Reed said, with us, it was just teacher. I said, remedial teacher. Fox said, that too. Supposedly, she just loves the tots, but her real love is the ballet. Milo wiped his lips. Tiny dancer, huh? She claimed to have been at the company of the New York Ballet until she hurt her foot and lost a promising career. The company never heard of her. Her permitted himself in a smile. So much for my reading people. So now my adrenals are buzzing and I start watching her house, check out her garbage. Milo said, fun part of the job. Fox's grin took on wattage, but so educational. What I learned is that she lives on air. I'm talking diet soda and Special K and not much cereal at that. She also goes through a hell of a lot of prescription decongestants and Ritalin. Now I'm thinking back to those meth busts. She just switched to legal speed. I said Ritalin could fit with the special ed fantasy. If she had learning disabilities herself, maybe she fantasized about a powder roll. A power roll. The drug's also effective in weight control if you don't mind the risks. Same for the decongestants. And she did have a role model for her eating disorder who, I glanced at Milo. He nodded. I described Kelly Vander's struggle with anorexia. Like mother, like daughter, said Fox. When I met her, I didn't think much of it. Skeletal and half the girls on the west side. Yeah, sure, that's all makes sense, Reed said. So she's an undernourished skank. Who does it have to do with Huck? Or what does it have to do with Huck? I'm studying the cage, or the stage, Moses. She's a liar and a possible addict, which says personality problems, right? Which could explain what else I found in her garbage can. Framed photo of her dad, her stepmom, and her brother all cut up, the glass all smashed. He raised the water glass as if toasting. She trashed her family, guys, literally. I said black ties for dad and son, red gown for mom. There's that one, or there's the one. It was sitting on her coffee table. She called our attention to it. That's my brother Kelvin. He's brilliant. Well, now he's brilliant and defaced, said Fox, literally. Sweet little countenance sliced up into confetti, like someone took a razor to it, the top of it off. The damn thing was wrapped in toilet paper. Don't want to spoil your appetite, but not clean toilet paper. There's your glamorous side of the job, Milo said. The picture was a prop for our benefit. One family, one happy family, Reed said. Now, she doesn't need it anymore because, oh Jesus, the Vanders haven't been heard from in 2 weeks. Fox reached for another capati. But wait, there's more. Call in now, and you guys get the Ginzu knife and the automatic feeble fetcher. Given the real bad thing I was getting from the little dead-beating bitch, I decided to keep shadowing her. First day, she did more of the usual rich girl shit. Shopping, massage, more shopping, which is weirdly carefree for someone who claims to be worried about her family. Second day starts off the same way. Naaman Marcus, little walk up to rodeo. She checks out the jewelry at Tiffany, and Judith Ripka buys sunglasses at Porsche Design, and then she drives 2 blocks because she's an LA girl to an office building on Wilshire and Cannon. Lobby directory says that it's the law firm Daddy uses. Same guys she badmouthed to me, and she's visiting them. I sit across the street and wait for her to leave. And when she does, it's not in her Beamer. She's a passenger in the Mercedes. Some guys at the wheel. They make a beeline to the peninsula. Simon's pal tips the doorman, big enough to leave the car in front. 2 hours later, the two of them come out with that goofy, no longer horny look, and meanwhile I've run the tags on the Mercedes. Don't ask me how, okay? Milo said, perish the thought. Fox said, comes back to an Alston Ware, attorney at mischief. Such a greedy scumbag. She wouldn't trust him as far as she could throw him. Meanwhile, he's her lunch hour fuck buddy? Reed said, is Ware bald? You think, Moses, is there any other good reason to saddle himself with a big old mess of phony, piss-yellow, fake-o hair? I'm talking Halloween guys, blonde dust mop. What I find weird is the guy knows how to dress. Zanga suit, Richie tie, and Mowgli shoes. Threads like that, and he blows it with a bad rug. Go figure. Maybe he's got an exaggerate self-image, said Milo, meaning thinks he's cuter than he really is, 'cause all of the bondo in his face. Fox frowned. Yeah, that too. So y'all know this? I just blew off a client for nothing. No answer. Oh, that's just great. You guys sit there and let me spin my wheels to his brother having fun, Moses. Reed smiled, but no irony, no restaurant. Maybe even something resembling brotherly affection. What? Fox demanded. We know a little, Aaron. You just made it a lot. The four of us left the restaurant. Fox and Reed walked side by side, seemed on the verge of conversation. But neither brother initiated. Milo said, "Did you happen to hold on to Simon's garbage, Aaron? Lucky for you, I'm a bit of a pack rat, Milo. Moses can verify. His side of the room looked like some ashram. Mine was Cope toys." Reed said, "Bureaucrat junk." Fox said, "Shall I have it picked up Or would you like me to deliver? We'll come to you, Aaron, and thanks. Figure I had to. The girl's bad news, and anyway, to keep my part quiet. We'll do our best. Fox fooled with his pocket square, and eyed his Porsche, meaning no. Milo said, you know how it goes, Aaron. Depends where it leads. Meanwhile, do us a favor and holding off on trying to collect your bill from Simon. For how long? Until it's no longer an issue, meaning never. Meaning until it's no longer an issue. Now, said Fox, you're sounding like a lieutenant. Pulling Alston, Spuddy, Weir's driving license took seconds. 45 years old, blonde hair, blue-eyed, betrocarotene tan, coating a heavy face that alternated between too light and losing the battle with gravity. The bored, insultant expression of a man with better things to do than pose for a clerk. No one had questioned the biological authority or authenticity of Jan and Dean Wigg. No criminal record, but a bar association complaint, still pending, had been filed 2 years ago over misappropriate of funds. Locating Chance Brandt ate up over an hour. We finally found the boy at the Westwood house of a friend named Bjorn Loftus. Parents on vacation gassed up SUVs in the driveway, ear-splitting music and marijuana fumes blowing through the driveway as Bjorn gasped. He jabbered improbable lies until Milo told him to bring Chance out now. Both boys staggered out moments later. Chance smirked again. Reed said, recognize this guy? Yeah, that's him. Who? Dude, I saw giving the envelope to Dub off, jack off. Bobbing his head and waiting for laughter. That never came. Mister, look at me. I'm all. Chance's eyes clouded as he groped for a punchline. Sign your name to the photo, said Milo. Chance's scrawl was unsteady. Yes, Reed had him repeat it. Bjorn Loftus let out a doped giggle. Now you're gonna have to testify, dude. Chance said, no way. I'm looking... and looked to us for confirmation. Milo said, we'll be in touch. Hear that, dude. You're gonna get touched, dude. Chance said, not unless they're gay, dude, and lunged back inside. Bjorn said, dude. Milo studied the signed photo. My head feels like it's gonna split open. Time for an Advil and a sit down on what we know and what we don't. I said, my house is 10 minutes away and I've got an ice pack for that neck. I said, head, not neck. I was talking whiplash from getting jerked around. He and Reed laughed. Yeah, it's Boogie over to the White House. He's got a nice place, Moses. Cute dog, too. Maybe she can make sense of all of this. I said, there's an additional incentive. 15,000 worth. If you like my content, please subscribe. It's free to do so, and it helps a lot. Thanks.